You know, somebody just reminded me, Peter Franklin, Gabby Cabby, spent the day with us yesterday. After a 12-hour shift that he drove cab in New York, he came on the radio and spent the morning with us. That was really nice.
I got to tell you, and I did think, too, he was dragging a little bit. Peter looked
he
like
was
he
a little
dragging,
bit, yeah. Well, listen, you know, you're working all night long.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's hard. You're in the city that just doesn't sleep, and it's tough to go to sleep early.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't. And this would be Wednesday night leading into Thursday. But then you're back up at 4. You know, now when it's all said and done, the press conference ends. You're meeting all these UFC people and you know, MMA now legal in New York. Now it's time to get out of the city. And it took us about 2 hours to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm driving and was extremely tired.
Can we, before we get to that, on our way out, we're like, you know, you're trying to get back for Citron. So we're like, we're not
the wheelchair. We were trying to get, so there'll be no lunch. We're not stopping for lunch. We've got to get back to do the wheelchair basketball.
Right. And so we're like kind of stuck there, and we're like, oh look, there's a little hut. What do they call it?
Let's do a
hot dog
let's
stand.
do a car, one of those little
Will you
food
call them
trucks.
over to the car?
Not a food truck, but a food cart. Mm-hmm. You don't call them over. You'd walk up to it. It has the little umbrella on it. And they sell
I thought you
hot
meant while
dogs
you're
and
like driving by the
falafel
tunnel.
and no. So in this case, we're trying to just get something into our stomachs
and save some time. So we pull over. There's a guy standing at the cart, and there's chicken and skewers and hot dogs and sausage and peppers and chicken and everything, and it's all cooking, and it's right there. And there's a guy standing next to it, and I said, I'm going to need a couple dogs. And he looks at me, and he goes, yeah, me too. And I'm like, okay, he's a funny guy, right? Someone just left the cart.
Left the cart there. Food on the grill. Food still cooking.
Chips and
When you
soda
gotta go,
and
you
everything.
gotta go.
Piles of, and that's
concluded.
what I thought. So the guy's like, you know, I don't know. And I mean, listen, you want to make you want to make a little money? I mean, you make some cash here.
I said, you want to make a couple bucks? Get back there.
We could have walked right behind the thing and just served ourselves and left a few bucks. But I'm like, I don't know how long this piles of chicken have been sitting here.
Yeah, it was really weird.
So we were there, for, 7 minutes or so? Meanwhile, we're double parked. So I'm in a bus lane on 7th Ave, and we're just sitting there, and traffic, kind of blocking traffic a little bit. So finally, we had to leave.
We're like, we look to the left to see if the guy's there, and then we look to the right to see if there's buses coming. It was like,
Yeah,
so we
here come the
finally
buses.
were like, get out of
Finally,
here.
we went about 20 blocks up and almost into Harlem, and we found a more of a food truck. And so we pulled over, and again, double parked, put on the flashers, jump out, and grab the food. And I have to tell you, the guy, when you wear the gloves are meant for contamination, anti-contamination purposes, right? It's meant for cleanliness. The problem is, you know, right, if you're wearing the gloves and you start touching a bunch of all dirty stuff,
it's the same
you
thing.
got to change the freaking gloves.
Yeah, your hands are still clean.
Yeah, your hands. You've
But
done
the
a great
gloves are
job
now
of-
dirty.
Your hands are clean as can be.
But see, the beauty of street meat in New York City is it's never bad.
Well, I'm going to tell you
funny.
something. And at this point, we were still with Senator Griffo, and Joe had ordered. You don't know this happened. Joe had ordered a hot dog and a soda or a water, and all of a sudden, Joe's going there and everything's going well, and all of a sudden he's like, cancel the hot dog. So I look over to Larry David and I said, cancel the hot dog, says Mr. Griffo. And the guy's like, what? No hot dog. I don't want a hot dog. And he's got the look on his face, and he looks at me like, you don't want a hot dog either. And I'm like, screw that. I'm not here because this place is clean. I'm starving.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the guy. I'm watching him with the gloves, and he's touching the credit card and the cell phone and this and everything else, and all with these gloves, and he's putting my hot dog on. And I'm like, screw it. Put a lot of mustard on that thing, and I am eating it. And that's how that went down. But on the way home, trying to stay awake was an issue. Now, Manaski wouldn't know because he was sleeping the whole way.
Oh, that's not fair.
But we died almost about 2 or 3 times.
Listen.
Because I fell asleep. The last time I fell asleep driving at about 85 going down 4 lanes,
Oh, my gosh.
I woke up and I'm drifting into the lane. At that point, I'm like, I got to get off. I got to get off somewhere and get some coffee. And then we couldn't find a place, so I had to get back on again. We finally found a Starbucks. I said I'd like give me 2 double espressos. And then I got to the end of the line, and I said, hey, and could you pour them into 1 cup? And she said, oh, why did you do it like that? You should ask for a quad espresso. I'm like, a quad? All right, that's kind of cool. And she said it would be cheaper that way. So I had 2 double espressos, a quad, and got back on the road, and I fell asleep again. So I'm like, okay, this is a problem. So 17 miles down the road, there's another thruway rest area. I got off again, and I got my Octi. So and this time...
You got your what?
My Octi. Well, if it's a quad, you could do it on an Octi, right?
He had an Octi espresso?
An Octi espresso. And so at this point, I've got about 12 shots of espresso in me, and it took me all the way back to here pretty well.
And I said, listen, I mean, if I was driving, I wouldn't be trying to fall asleep, but we're sitting in the car, and, I'm just kind of dozing off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Bill, listen, I can drive.
We were both doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, fortunately, we made it back.
Well, we did get back. So, but again, what we gain out of this thing, I have to tell you, it was really an amazing experience. I think at the end of the day, we will probably have 1 member of Trump's family on by the end of this morning, and at least by Monday, the very lovely Ronda Rousey from the UFC will be on. And, by the time we had gotten home, we're hearing the rumors that maybe there are preparations in place for, if you're a Democrat, for your former Senator Hillary Clinton, who is, we're pretty sure, going to be making a stop. And I would expect that announcement will be made today. That's just my take on it. We'll see. That's my take. It's a pretty good take. Yeah, it's going to happen. Just makes me look good when I say, hey, I think it might happen. No, I think we're pretty confident. And don't you think so, right? I mean, this is a heated race. And it's probably under 10 points right now between Hillary and Bernie Sanders.
Well, Fox reported this morning, those must have been statewide numbers, that last month it was 13. This morning it's 2. She's ahead by 2%.
It's close, which to me means we might even be getting a little radio visit from her, just because this has become a battle, and she's got to win New York. She doesn't win New York, I don't know what happens. Hold on tight. We'll do Willie Waffle coming up in a second. Talk about a couple big movies coming out this weekend. Here's Christine Bellina with an update. Good morning. Good morning.